Hi everyone, welcome to the Premier Corner, and we are going to talk about the game week 10 today. And for that, with me in the studio, it's not really in the studio, is it? We are just three blokes talking to each other over the internet. With me today is Nrup and also Leontes. Hi boys, how are you doing?
Hi there, Jenny.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. How are you? Are you okay, guys?
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm a bit ill, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it because it was not for sure that you would make
No.
it tonight.
Yeah.
So you're ill and
Yeah.
you're still here. Well, thanks for that. Leontes' YouTube channel, everyone. And it looks like, Leontes, you might need Nrup's help. Nrup is a doctor, of course.
Yeah.
You are.
Give me a mobile number. I'll send you the receipt, e-receipt.
You are an English teacher, so maybe you can help each other out. All right. So of course we're going to talk about the game week 10, as I said. But before we do, is there anything you would like to say, guys? Apart
Well,
from
I think we also need to talk about the Champions League because I was there.
It's on agenda.
Yeah.
You will have a chance to mention it. So it's a nice hook for the listeners or viewers. Leontes is going to talk about a first-hand experience of visiting the Old Trafford Stadium. So I think that sounds good. Okay, and Rup is today wearing a claret shirt. Have you become a West Ham fan as well, Rup, like me, or?
I'm just playing mind games, mate. It's for the Wednesday's game, you know. We face you for the Carabao Cup, so yeah.
You say face you, but I'm gonna be in the position of a schizophrenic watching that game, because obviously I support both Arsenal and West Ham. So yeah, I don't know how I would even say it. We face we. I face I. No idea what pronouns to use there. Anyway, if you're watching us live, make sure you hit the subscribe button and give us a like and all that stuff as well. I usually say it at the end, but maybe I shouldn't. I should say it now. Right, guys, let's talk about our surprise of the week. No, sorry, not yet. First, matches we have seen. So starting with Nrup.
Yeah, I watched Arsenal versus Sheffield United, and I watched highlights of the Manchester derby.
Nice. That will come in handy since we're going to talk about it with Leontes here. Because of course we should say that Manchester United is Leontes' team. And which matches did you see, Leontes?
I only saw the derby.
The derby, but before that, you have to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, during the week, I've seen I saw the Man United against FC Copenhagen game.
Against whom?
FC Copenhagen.
Doesn't sound like a Premier League team to me.
No. That's why it's Champions League.
That's a Danish team, of course.
Yeah.
Right? From the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Copenhagen.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's even more.
I think they have a B instead of G in their own language. And
of
they
course,
have K, so it's like Copenhagen or something.
Yeah.
But
I was assuming that you being Dutch, Leontes, it's close enough to Danish.
No, we say Copenhagen again.
You say Erik ten Haag.
Yeah, like Erik ten Haag.
So that's why you have to say Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Is that a word where you wouldn't put this sound, or do you put it in every single word? Because that's what it sounds like.
No. There are many words without a but lots of them do have. Gezellig, Scheveningen.
That's why. Okay, I'm not a doctor like you, Nrup, yeah. But my sort of gut feeling, pun intended, my gut feeling is telling me that the reason Leontes is sick is because of having to make that sound on a daily basis.
I was about to say that.
Every day. Like, how do you not get sick? It's the same when English people get sick because they always have to spit. Like,
Yeah,
all the sounds,
something's
think
wrong.
That's why they are known
every
for
la-
having teeth.
every language has something. I'm Czech, yeah, for example, and we say that's also a sound that makes you sick for sure. What about your first language, Anoop? Is that Indian then?
No, it's one of the dialects called Gujarati. Um,
You never
and
told us this actually. That's great. Okay,
yeah,
tell
it's
us.
it's a language from the West India. So
Ah,
yeah. It's just
what's
one
what's
of
your
your. It's just one of the Indo-Aryan languages. So I'm like, you can call me a distant cousin.
and what's
Like,
what's the most difficult sound in that dialect then?
well, we have two types of N, two types of L. So we have
Ah,
L and N, and then we have like a softer one, which is L and N. Yeah, like
Okay.
oh, that
yeah,
sounds easy enough compared to like or or
Oh, we
uh,
also have au, which is something that especially Germans find difficult. So in Dutch, the word house is huis, and Germans can't say house, which is weird.
that's okay. We can have some weird stuff on this channel
Yeah.
as well. In fact, that's the only thing we have here most of the time. So that's okay. You're in the right place, everyone. We're talking about the matches we have seen, by the way, as well. Which this was just another weird thing on the show. A tangent. We call it a tangent in the English language. We just went off topic a bit.
I think I can
So
add, if you want another
Yep.
weird fact,
sure.
you're never going to guess who is at the bottom of the Dutch Eredivisie.
I can guess. I can.
Ajax.
Let me get.
unbelievable.
Oh, come on! You spoiled my fun.
Yeah.
Ajax Amsterdam. They lost 5 matches in a row, right?
Yeah. They're at the bottom of the league, which is weird.
They are in a gutter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they lost all of their players, so they sort of sold all of their players. So I mean, if you do that, you have to play with your B team, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on. I mean, going back to the original point, which was the matches we have seen. So I think I haven't talked about mine. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to see the whole Arsenal Sheffield game because I was coming back from work. I was texting you about that, Noop, remember?
yeah.
So I missed the first Eddie Nketiah goal. And then I watched the West Ham United Everton game, which was absolutely awful. It was one of the worst games I have ever seen in my entire life. And I have seen a lot of games already. And then I also saw bits and pieces from the Manchester derby. I think I saw especially the beginning of the game, and then it got a bit mundane for me. So I stopped watching, but at least I saw the highlights. So and then I watched a few highlights from other games, but I can't remember. I mean, the Liverpool one, I think. I saw the Liverpool highlights. And that's that. Guys, what was your surprise of the week? Tell me. And the people in the comments, you can tell us as well.
I think my surprise of this week was Onana's form during the Manchester derby. I think, yeah, he made some excellent saves, to be honest, and yeah, that was quite surprising.
Did you say Onana's form? Because
Yeah.
I heard fall for some
No,
reason.
form.
Form, yeah. I heard
Yeah.
falls for some reason. I was like, okay. Because I know he was excellent against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I know he was excellent there. So
Yeah.
okay, so he kept his form, which
Yeah.
is good. Which is good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Despite conceding 3 goals as well.
Could have been like 7 or 8, so could have been worse.
Yeah. Noop.
For me, it has to be the hattrick by our own academy kid, Eddie Nketiah. I just didn't expect him to score it so easily. It was sublime.
Are you? That's a nice
And,
word. Sublime.
and the best part was his hat trick came before some English star boys. One of them is called Marcus Rashford. and I forgot the other name. I really forgot. Sorry, probably
Foden.
Foden. Yeah, probably Foden. But yeah, like, I mean, I think it's a big name.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm also going to go out on a limb and guess that your surprise of the week will be the same as your hero of the week. But we have to stay longer to find out, everyone. Hero of the week will be discussed a bit later. My surprise of the week, I'm going to say Brighton, who didn't manage to beat Fulham. I mean, Fulham are not a bad team, but yet I would still expect Brighton to dominate them, and they were reduced to a draw at home to Fulham, which I don't know. I don't know how it happened, but it looks like Brighton are losing their sort of form, or like shining less than they did. They're flying lower. The Seagulls are flying lower than they were at the start of the season, uh, which is a bit disappointing, if I'm honest, with the coach they have and the kind of players they have. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that as well. Not just this draw, but overall their performances as of late. Okay, so let's talk about game week highlights then. So we have got two matches to discuss here. One of them is Arsenal, Sheffield United. The other one is the Manchester Derby, Manchester United, Manchester City. Let's start with the Arsenal game, 5-0. That looks like a simple job. Nope.
Yeah, well, on paper it does, but it was a really satisfying victory. 5-0. It's been a long time since Arsenal had such a thumping victory. And I was really skeptical at the beginning after looking at her starting 11 because I could see David Raya. And it's not like I don't like him, it's just that I really expected more rotation when it came to goalkeepers by Arteta, because after listening to his press conference and after listening to his opinions on our goalkeepers, I thought he would be pretty 50-50. And why wouldn't you start Ramsdale against his former club, especially in this period where he could probably boost some confidence, since Sheffield haven't been really performing well in this league so far. But then,
Yeah.
yeah, apart from that, like I saw Kivio, like I saw the likes of Kivio, Emil Smith Rowe, Nketiah starting. So I was really happy. Like, okay, what's his name?
Arteta,
Arteta, yeah, sorry.
not Arsene Wenger. That's a different coach.
Like Arteta, he started giving chances to young players, and they deserved it absolutely.
It looked like he was doing a bit of rotation, which I think he chose the right match to do it. No offense to Sheffield United, but Arsenal should be beating them with their reserve team as well. And so they did in a convincing fashion. Leontes, are you surprised that Arsenal managed to score 5 and conceded 0?
No. I was thinking of whether Man United has already played against Sheffield. They did, right? They won like barely. They played barely an extra point in advance. So yeah, I thought it was fun to see Arsenal beat them 5-0. And I'm also,
Okay.
I'm also kind of rooting for Arsenal this season again. Last year as well.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, like I recommend Leontes to see the goals by Nketiah. I mean, they were sublime. Like he just showed that he's he's a gunner. He's a true gunner. He won't betray us, and he will give his best, no matter what the chances are. He loves to play under pressure, and he's hungry. He's always hungry, even though he's a bit more inconsistent. But I mean, he's
But
an
also,
active player.
there's a lot of progress from him. There has been a lot of progress.
Yeah.
You can see that he never gave up. His position was never easy in the team.
It wasn't.
He was never like the starting player. He had to go through hell to earn Arteta's trust, I think, and he has shown that he can do it, and he's getting better and better. This season it's just another level compared to the previous one where he was already good, and the year before there was a spell, right, where Gabriel Jesus was injured. Was that 2 years ago? I believe it was. And
I
then
think
he
it
like
was last
scored.
season.
Was it last season?
I think it was last season. Like he was out
Okay.
for a long time.
And then he was, but no. But 2 years ago, it was the season of that. No, it wasn't Netflix. Amazon, help me there. The Amazon documentary, and remember there was a season when he scored like so many goals.
Yeah, he did.
So many goals in a row, like in every match he kept scoring.
All or nothing.
Yeah, all or nothing. Yeah, that's that. So I remember like he had a nice spell as well. So we know of his qualities. It's just because of the role in the team he has. He was more or less the super sub or the bench player, and now it looks to me like he is the one Arteta should be starting over Gabriel Jesus. Do you agree with me, Noop? Not just because of this hat trick, but just he's just excellent. He presses well. He's just fox in the box. Yeah, he's a poacher. His physicality, his presence. He's fast. He's a great player. He should start over Jesus now, shouldn't he?
Well, it depends on who we face, but I really think Arteta should rotate more, and these were the games where he should have rotated more, and he finally listened to the fans, or I don't know, maybe he listened to his out of the box situation. Yeah, like I think like if you want to face the bottom 10 teams hypothetically, I think you should start with Nketiah over Jesus, because Jesus is a big game player and he provides more impact in different aspects compared to Nketiah. But of course, Nketiah, he's young, he gets injured less than Jesus. So yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, but your pronunciation of Gabriel just always makes me laugh because you say Jesus. So I'm imagining Jesus playing for Arsenal.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know he's called like
kind of makes me laugh every time.
Gabriel Jesus, like in a Brazilian way, but yeah.
Well, that's how the English commentators pronounce it, Gabriel Jesus, right? When you say Jesus, okay, we have Jesus on our team.
Jesus.
Isn't that brilliant?
Yeah.
Gabriel as well, right? Isn't Gabriel one of the
Apostles?
Yeah.
Angels, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not.
Anyway.
Something to do with Bible. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Noop, Wood and someone like Eddie Nketiah. I'm sure you must have noticed his hat trick now, at least when you saw the scores. Is someone like him, would he even stand a chance of playing in that United team?
Yeah, I think.
Let me ask Leontes. I just want him to. Yeah.
What was it? What was the question? I was checking Chelsea for a second.
Chelsea.
Yeah, we were all talking about London teams. I thought, how's Chelsea doing? But what was the question?
They just lost to Brentford, mate.
Yeah,
they are awful.
So then I thought, well,
just when you see
Pochettino already sacked, but not yet.
No, because they had a resurgence, they had a spell, they started getting better, and their performances have been improving. But then they lost against Brentford again. They have a knack of losing.
Brentford has won more at their stadium than Chelsea has.
Yeah, exactly.
So back to the question.
Yeah, they have a knack of losing to Brentford. Yeah. What was the question? I forgot the question myself.
I can ask, like, Leontes, would you?
Oh yeah. Would Nketiah start in the current United team?
No.
Why not?
I don't know what Ten Hag is doing, but it would be best to rotate as well. But he prefers his current lineup too much, I think. Only midfield, sometimes he makes a few changes. But otherwise, it's mostly the same. So I don't think he would play in the current United lineup.
That's fair enough. Absolutely fine. Of course, we are a little bit hurt and disappointed by that with Noop, but that's okay. We'll take it. It's probably true, by the way.
It's possible. I mean, he can probably play Weghorst position or something.
Yeah. Instead of Lindelof.
Isn't it Weghorst, by the way? Weghorst.
Yeah, Weghorst.
I told you, Noop, it's
Weghorst, yeah.
Weghorst.
Weghorst, Wout, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Weghorst has already left United, so
Yeah, he does, but it's just that his position. I'm like, he was a striker similar to Nketiah, and then look where he was playing.
yeah.
So yeah,
I still think Weghorst's best moment was in the World Cup for the Netherlands when he scored that equalizer. Was it against Argentina? Yeah, I remember that. That was a brilliant goal. I don't know why we ended up speaking about Weghorst, but I should ask Noop more questions about Arsenal. So I don't think Arsenal were really tested in this game. There's a hat-trick. One thing we should mention is Arteta seems to be really good at bringing on the right substitutes as well. Don't you think? They always score or produce some magic or something happens. It's a skill to develop as a manager to really boost your team when you need it, when everyone else is getting tired and you need that extra fresh legs, that new energy. And Arteta seems to be getting it right. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree with you. I think he learned it from what happened to Saka. Saka had a small setback because Arteta was overusing him. And also Arteta, at the beginning of his career at Arsenal, he wasn't really using that many subs. He would always leave it till the end. It's, I think, similar to what Pep does. I mean, Pep, I wouldn't even go on to say Pep probably never does substitution, even after it changed from a 3 to 5. He just says like, well, it's my ball. I'll do whatever I want. So Arteta, I think he had a bit of that, and then later he started using substitutions around 60th minute, 70th minute.
He's not afraid to just take someone off, and it looks like this may have led to a bust up as well with one of the players, one of our senior players, one of players that has been really good at our team. Have you heard? Nope.
No.
There's some sort of a problem with Thomas Partey. I don't know if it's just rumors, but apparently he's not happy, and he's not happy. Yeah, he's not happy that he's not getting game time under Arteta. But it could be just rumors. Who knows? In this day and age,
rumors, because I mean, like, he got to play, but then he got injured, and then whenever he came back, he was inconsistent. And then the moment he finally finds his form, he gets injured in like 2 games. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm sure like us fans or us audience are not as blind as what this. Let's say the room. I don't know what you call it.
What's that?
I forgot the word for it. The room, like where the players sit.
The dressing room.
The dressing room, like, because I know like what all things happen in the dressing room, but then it also reflects on the game. And Partey, he has always been. I don't think he had any conflicts compared to what we saw.
All right, fair enough. What about the situation at United regarding some disagreements, bust-ups? Has Erik ten Hag dealt with everything? Of course, we remember the Ronaldo case, but since then there have been more, right? There was Sancho as well. So is everything handled at this point, Leontes, or do you think there are some more problems?
I think everything is sort of handled. I'm watching the documentary on David Beckham
right now.
Netflix.
I thought you were watching Chelsea.
No, not now.
Okay.
But I guess when I'm having dinner, I usually watch the documentary on Netflix. And what I found interesting was that there was some discussion over the way that he handled, not in the documentary, but online, there was some discussion about how he handled the situation with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And then I kind of was looking at how, I wanted to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it's not correct. Sir Alex Ferguson handled the situation with David Beckham after the World Cup in '98. And that's, I don't know whether Ten Hag is doing something correct or not. Because I think Sir Alex Ferguson had a formula, but he also had some sort of status, right? At that point in '98. So everybody looked up to him, and he was kind of this god figure of the Premier League football. And I think it's for Ten Hag very difficult because he's constantly compared to those people like Jurgen Klopp, like Pep Guardiola, and he's compared to Sir Alex Ferguson. So I think that the way he's handled things, to put it his own way, sure, I think that's fine. I think the thing that he didn't do well is comment on Jadon Sancho.
I would also like to add one more point, if I may.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, I agree with all the statements with Leontes, and I would also like to add one more point, and that is, in this era where you have social media and the media in general, the mass media has been so accessible to everything. I think Eric Ten Hag has to be much more careful, and he has to really control himself much more, because if you think of the incidents that Sir Alex Ferguson had with the players, I don't think he would survive in this time. Like, I remember he injured David Beckham. I think he threw a
Yeah.
shoe or something,
Yeah.
and there were stitches on his head, on his forehead, if I remember clearly.
He
I
gave
don't
his
think,
players the hair dryer treatment and all that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, something like that. So I don't think he would survive in the Premier League itself if not for United.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
well, I think
Yep.
it depends, because he has a legacy, and he had a legacy at some point, so he has some goodwill, right? If Sir Alex Ferguson, the same would happen with Ruud van Nistelrooy, nobody would doubt that he did something inappropriately at that point because he had the status. Now with Ten Hag, everyone he's under scrutiny because everything, he's not the same. His tactics are poor. La 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 la. If you go on Reddit and read about Ten Hag, at first it was all Ten Hag this, Ten Hag that, and now it's we need to Ten Hag out and those things.
I think
So-
Leontes, it's partially because he's a foreigner, so it's
Yeah.
always going to be harder for him
Yeah.
because of being foreigner. So I think also it's not like we spoke about his English. I think it's very good compared to help me. What
Louis
was
van
his name?
Gaal.
What?
Louis van Gaal, probably.
Compared to him, his English is much better. But still, the English, they really value like someone who can speak excellent English. I know that, and not only that, but also who has this sense of humor and can rise above things. And
Yeah.
then Ten Hag, he does strike you as a bit of a sort of a serious character,
Yeah.
if you don't mind me saying. And that's part of the problem, because it's about the whole persona, the whole sort of character and the way. Now look at this Postecoglou stuff that is happening. Yes, they are winning, but I bet even if they lost a few games here and there, he would have this status of just such a likable guy because he cracks jokes and the media love him, and we are talking about a Spurs manager. Of all teams, Spurs must be the most hated team. Like West Ham hates them, Arsenal hate them. Everybody hates them. Everybody says they Spurs things up. Everybody takes the Mickey out of them. But now things are changing. Times are changing. Roep.
Yeah.
What do you think about this unbelievable turnaround with this team that we all used to hate so much?
Well, for me, it's not the first time. I remember the season where Leicester won the league, and that was the time where Harry Kane, he finally bursted out to become a world-class striker, and Tottenham were like the new favorites of Premier League. So I've seen this, but it depends. Like, how does this momentum go? Like, we are where match day 10, match day 11. Sorry,
Match day
10.
10.
Yeah,
yeah.
so we have like 28 games to go, which is a long time from now.
But we have to say, unfortunately, reluctantly, we have to say Tottenham are top of the league.
No, they are. Yeah, absolutely. They have done a phenomenal job so far, and the manager, he's good. I personally, I like his interviews, like not for the sake of some intellectual footballing stuff, but just in general. Like, I just feel good listening to him.
He's very honest, very straightforward.
Yeah,
the way
he opens up. He
talks,
you feel connected to him. He talks to you like he's sitting next to you.
It's kind of the counterpart to Arteta, you could say, because Arteta often tries to deceive you almost, like in the way he talks. So he doesn't
absolutely.
doesn't beats around the bush and doesn't want to tell you everything.
It's frustrating sometimes to listen to Arteta. Like, he is a proper street smart, but yeah, kudos to Tottenham.
Yeah, unfortunately, it has come to this. We have to say it on this show. We have to give credit when it's due. We also have to give credit to Manchester City, unfortunately, which I'm sure Leontes won't be so happy about. Leontes, am I right?
Well, I don't know. I think, as a United fan, you need to be realistic. And I was realistic, and I thought, well, it's either going to be 6-0 or we might win, right? It's there's no in between. So the fact that it became 3-0, I was quite happy that it was only 3-0.
Really? How can you
Yeah.
be happy as a United fan losing 3-0 to your rival? That
Yeah,
sounds like
because it's it's about being realistic at times when you have to be realistic. And we're not the team that beats Manchester City. We're not that team.
we are that team. We beat them,
You,
and no, like
yeah,
nobody would think a few years ago that we would be able to do that. But
But
come on,
hey,
it's
Leontes, it took us 8 years. I mean,
yeah,
or you look at you like I think every season you have defeated City at least once.
yeah, yeah. And
So like,
last season they won
exactly,
at home. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, they won all of the
exactly.
all of the Manchester derbies. So
yeah.
So like Tottenham and United were always some sort of a kryptonite to Pep's football,
yeah,
always. So yeah, I think it's okay. It's just a game, at the end of the
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
And I
well,
do
from
have
what
to say that I think United did play okay-ish. I don't think that people are criticizing Ten Hag again, but I don't think that's very reasonable because what he did in the beginning, in the first half, the fact that he said we played well in the first half, I agree. They did play well in the first half. They were playing against something like Manchester City. They weren't playing against Brentford or Sheffield United, a real attacking team with someone like Haaland. I mean, of course you're going to park the bus at home, right? A bit of Mourinho football, Mourinho ball.
Hmm.
That makes sense. And I think they did quite well. Even Maguire. Although I wouldn't have put it, I wouldn't have lined him up against City, but all right.
Well, I think Harry Maguire deserves to play now because he had an excellent game against Copenhagen. He scored the winning goal,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it looks it seems right to be given the chance after everything he has been through. I mean, you should give him the chance. Southgate doesn't play him for no reason. I mean,
No.
he must see a lot in him, even if a lot of people don't. There must be something in him that.
But then
we
again,
don't-
if he has to be the person to mark Erling Haaland, I think that's tricky because he doesn't have the speed that Haaland has. So that's why I wouldn't line him up against Manchester City.
Yeah, but he has the physicality, and if you park the bus, think about
Yeah.
it. If you park the
Yeah.
bus, then it makes sense to play Haaland, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
of course if you're playing like counter attacks, then it's different. Like Haaland is a huge threat if they play counter attacks. But I mean, it makes sense to me to play Maguire in such a game.
Yeah.
Leontes, how has Johnny Evans been? Like nobody talks about him. I mean, like he's had a comeback to United after a long time, and he's one of the senior players like Michael Carrick and others. And yeah, like
I think
would
he's
like to know.
okay,
Okay.
but I don't think he has the finesse of the younger players, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So if you would compare him to someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's now injured for quite some time, Wan-Bissaka has this finesse when he tackles, and I don't think Evans has the same. And we also see that finesse in Victor Lindelöf. He also has this quick movement that he can do, and Dalot has it as well. And I don't think that Evans has that, but he is a good header. So
Now comes the time I have to ask you, Leontes, about your experience of going to the Old Trafford, because we have to talk about that. Even if it's not really Premier League, it's close enough. It's still Manchester United. It's the Old Trafford. Okay, a little bit of Champions League excursion here. So how was it?
Yeah, it was great. It was I wouldn't say magical, but it was magical. It was excellent. It was I got the tickets online the week before we went, because I thought, well, they're playing. I didn't know they were playing Champions League that week, so I was doing my planning for the rest of the month, and then I noticed that they were doing Champions League, so I got tickets online, and it included the entrance to the 500 Club, which is a lounge in Old Trafford. So we went out to dinner in the quarries first, and then we walked over to Old Trafford, and we went into the lounge for about an hour. And there was dinner there as well. We didn't know that, but there was food as well, but it didn't look that good, so we didn't miss anything. And they were showing the Bayern Munich game on the screens, so that was interesting. And the 500 Club has lots of these images of of the 500 best players, I think, of Man United.
When you say the 500 Club, to me it sounds like there are only 500 people in it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
And
I
you
thought
are
there was
one.
something like that as well, but no.
And you are one of them. One
No,
of the
no.
one of the VIPs.
We're not that special. So that was fun, and then we were seated in this area with padded leather seats, with excellent view of the stadium, and it was very touching to see the Sir Bobby Charlton memorial happening at the time, with the wreath on his seat, and yeah, it was great. It was a bit boring the first half, so nothing very special happened. But the second half was better, definitely, and the goal was great, and the save was absolutely great as well. The entire stadium erupted because
So
if
that
they
was when, sorry, just to explain to our viewers. So that was when Onana saved the penalty in the dying minutes of the match, right?
Yeah. So when the referee pointed to the spot, everyone was booing, of course, and it's not great.
Including the people in the 500 Club,
including us in the 500 Club. Yeah. And afterwards, when he saved the penalty, the stadium erupted, and that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Leontes? Would you like to ask about something?
No, not really. I mean, all I recently heard was that I heard the opinion of why Rafael Varane hasn't been playing and why Chris Evans was been playing, because I was always questioning, like, you have Varane, who is a world class, already proved defender, probably one of the top 5 defenders in the world in the past 10 years, and yeah, it's just, well, he has his own tactics. It's strange, but it is what it is.
And I thought he was injured.
No, he was benched, and he said, like, for some phases of the game, he doesn't think that Varane and Maguire are the right people, and yeah, well, I don't know, some technical terms, I guess, to cover up his mistakes. I don't know.
Okay, I know Nrup has to go very soon, so what we will do now, we will do a quick hero of the week and villain of the week, and then we will let Nrup go. Is that fair?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I have like maximum 10 more minutes, so if you want,
so we could even do a quick FPL peek then.
Sure.
Let's see.
I don't want to, but okay.
Well, you're the best of us, so you should feel proud of yourself. Anyway, hero of the week. Can it be anyone else than Eddie Nketiah, Nope?
It has to be the guy from the Hill End, the guy that finally showed up, Eddie Nketiah. It is him. 3 goals, possibly a 4th one. I mean, he was just fantastic.
Yeah, he was phenomenal, and I can only agree with you. So there's nothing else to say really. My hero of the week is also Eddie, not Murphy, but Nketiah. What about you, Leontes?
I think my heroes of the week are Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola for signing the Book of Condolence at Old Trafford.
May I know what is that?
So that's kind of the book where people can leave messages for the family of Bobby Charlton, and they went to Old Trafford and wrote something in it. So that was very, I think, very, very polite.
respectful
Yeah, very
gesture.
respectful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, they are both legends already in the English football. These two managers, so fair play,
Yeah.
fair play to him.
Yeah.
Fair play to them, and I think it's an interesting choice from Leontes. Two heroes of the week. Why not? How about villains of the week then? Well, I've got mine, but let's ask Noop first.
It has to be Ollie Watkins, and it's because I captained him for the FPL, and
So
they
did
won
I.
the
So did
game.
I.
It was the home game. They have the best home record in Premier League, and yet he doesn't score.
And they were
And
playing against Luton.
exactly. And guess who scores 2 goals and assists 1?
The guy that I took out of my team,
The guy
Haaland.
that I made the vice captains. I'm like, what?
At least you got some points. I got nothing, and then I got 4 points from Ollie Watkins.
Yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah.
has to be him for me.
Well, that's a great reason. Of course, any reason that involves the FPL, it's a valid reason to name someone a villain of the week. Of course, I'm being a little bit sarcastic, ladies and gentlemen, but if you play this game, if you're passionate about it, the way we are, I'm sure you understand. Well, for me, it has to be David Moyes because of the Moyes ball he played against Everton. That was absolutely atrocious. It was the most boring match I've seen in ages. And David Moyes said that he was resting a lot of players when he played against Olympiacos in midweek. He was resting the players for this game. And then those players didn't show up. They didn't turn up at all. They were awful. Even those that normally are great, there was nothing. It was such a lackluster, boring performance. Yes, Everton were also bad, and yes, they were defending, but they had two shots on goal. Yeah, at West Ham. One of them was barely a shot, and one Benrahma shot. And apart from that, there was nothing in the game. Like the fans, they were so gutted after that. They were so disillusioned. And it looks like it's Moyes out again. They started off really well, the Hammers, but now it looks like it's Moyes out again. Like the voices are back. So yeah, that's my villain of the week, David Moyes. He deserves it for this. But you could also say that it was the players that let him down, equally. But he's the man in charge. He's the guy at the wheel. So I don't know. Leontes, who's your villain of the week?
I think Rashford this week because he didn't step up against Man City. Yeah.
Well, for once, it's not Harry Maguire, which this is progress, I think.
It was funny though that I sent you a picture of Maguire before the game, telling you, "Oh, look, it's my villain of the week," and then he scored the winning goal.
Yeah.
So it was during the Champions League.
I remember that. That must have been such an amazing feeling. Him scoring the goal, it was getting vindicated. I can't imagine how he must have felt when he went after scoring that goal. When he went to his fans celebrating the goal, like you could see like everything that he has been through, including us. Neutral fans like taking the piss all the time, even on this very show, and then you score a winning goal as a defender. I mean, must have been great for him. Must felt really vindicated.
So yeah, I'd say Rashford as my villain of the week, and because he didn't step up, he doesn't step up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And
he's out of form.
And yet Nketiah wouldn't play in your team?
I would have him. I mean, it's fine, but Ten Hag, I think Ten Hag really needs to start changing his players. Bench all of them.
Bench all of them?
Yeah,
that sounds too drastic to me.
Okay, maybe keep Bruno Fernandes then.
But if anyone can do it, but if anyone can do it, he can. Because he seems like the kind of guy who's not afraid to make tough calls.
But then he doesn't do it. That's the weird thing. I mean, I would have benched Rashford by now, right? Have him sit on the bench for a few weeks until the next international break and see if Southgate can kind of boost him up again, reboot him, and then put him in. Give Maguire, give Martial the opportunity to
Maguire
play
as
an entire
as a
game. Give
striker.
Donny van de Beek the opportunity to play a game, and see whether they can do it.
Or Leontes could become the new manager of the good old Manchester United. Now that he's
I would be sacked
500,
in like 3 weeks, definitely.
you are already in the 500 club.
Yeah,
you are on your way, man. It's
Yeah.
happening. I bet it is.
Do you think that Ten Hag will be sacked? What's your opinion? I was wondering about this.
Rob, what do you think?
I think it's 50-50. He could end up like what happened to Potter, or they will have to see at the end of the season.
It's funny that you mentioned Potter because he's the one being linked with United, actually.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I have no idea about that.
Well, he doesn't have a job at the moment. Yeah. So
Yeah, well, I would reckon. If you don't remember, I reckon I told all the West Ham fans that I know that I think they should have sacked Moyes at the beginning of the season or in the pre-season, and they should have signed Potter after looking at the players they signed.
Yeah, but you cannot you cannot sack a manager that just wins you a European trophy. You just can't sign a manager also who gets 3 European places in a row, which it's just such a huge achievement. Like Moyes, he's hated for the style of football he plays, and yes, there are some weird results under him, but he gets the results. He gets things done, and he also has the part to play in of course Declan Rice's amazing a price tag, because he made him into this player as well. Partially, he's responsible for that. So if you are the owner and your manager is winning you a trophy, has won a trophy for them, gets the conference league once and twice Europa League in 3 years. How do you not keep that guy, because he's making you money? And then Rice, sells Rice to Arsenal for how much? How much was it?
120 million quid.
We're not talking about Czech crowns here. Yeah,
no.
million pounds sterling, right? So, or is that euros? Are you talking in euros now? Or?
No, I don't think it's euros. No,
yeah, pounds. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's that. Let's talk about the FPL quickly then. Everybody spoke about their villains of the week, yeah? I didn't leave anyone out. Okay, just making sure. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, like the past 2-3 match days have been quite a disaster for FPL people.
For me.
Lots of upsets. For me. Same here.
No. You're doing great.
You're
doing great. Look at it, yeah? So I'm sharing my screen as always.
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's see it, yeah? So look what happened to me. 58.
Yeah, I know.
Below average. Watkins, my captain. Antonio, 1 point. Ward-Prowse not delivering. My defenders. Tarkowski was my last player on bench.
Yeah.
And he had to get in the team because Gabriel wasn't starting. Udogi wasn't starting. And Trippier just got 0. But it's been awful for me. Awful.
You were lucky with Gabriel not starting because, I mean, like, he's usually always starting the games. And Kivior, who's not even a starter, he started and then ended up having a clean sheet with 5-0.
Well, I'm not lucky because I would have got the same amount of points for Gabriel, maybe even more, if he played, right? Because it doesn't matter.
I think it's good.
Yeah, but it would still be a clean sheet, so it would be 6, just like Tarkowski. Like it's just like you get 2 points for 2 halves, and then you get 4 points for a clean sheet. Yeah. So Anyway, let's look at the table. No one wants to see my team anymore,
Yeah,
I think.
you see?
So we have got Noop sitting comfortably in the 4th place.
Yeah, I fell down.
Actually getting past Jack Francis, possibly even. So no, you're there and thereabouts. You see?
Okay.
Actually, but when I look at my number of points, I'm not too far off from you.
Yeah,
it's only 35 points.
Yeah.
So, but those two guys ahead are so ahead of us. It's like what was happening last season with Mohamed. It's almost the same now.
Yeah, well,
Tom Smith and Fanda Tuhacek. Who are these guys anyway? What's that?
Leontes is not here.
Leontes.
Sorry, I clicked on leave studio. I don't know why, but for some reason my mouse.
I didn't kick you. How could I kick someone who is in the 500?
Wait, we have to. We won't kick you out until we see your team. So make sure you see it.
No, Leontes is.
Can you see me all the way down there?
Leontes, you got a sexy.
You're even more than us.
He got a sexy 69.
Yeah,
like Dimitro. So that's 11 more than me.
More than average.
Because you captain Haaland. Of course you have
also
Haaland. Huang scored a fantastic goal to secure a draw against Newcastle. If you find the YouTube video, they actually have a nice Wolverhampton Wonder commentator who really who goes very emotional when Huang scores these goals. Scores this goal.
It's crazy how you have 3 Chelsea players and yet you scored like more than average.
It's like it's a really fun score here.
Yeah,
like a lot of his players like gets like 2-0 or his entire bench
lots
0.
Of extremes.
But then
who's that menu? How? Teach me your masterclass.
Yeah,
what's this?
Bournemouth.
Oh my god. How do you recruit these players? My god.
And I have Antonio in my team. Yeah.
So. I usually look at the number of points or money, the amount of money that I have left, and then I basically look for the cheapest option.
Well, it's not really working for you currently, but let's see. Let's have a look at your position.
So
it's the problem is like everybody is getting a lot of points. You see, even people around you. That's the issue here. Kirillo, one of the Achievers Chamber members. Kirillo, by the way, I'm happy for him. It's his first season, so he's doing all right. This is where Noop was last season, so all you need to do is just to go through this pain of the. Actually, my first season was my best. I won my mini league, but since then it has been a downfall.
So you have been a one-season wonder.
one season pony. Yeah. But it looks like I'm not the only one. Even Paul is not doing that great, to be honest. Paul, what happened to Paul? Because he captained Watkins.
Even he did what we all did. Watkins captain.
We all jumped on the bandwagon. But Martin Smith has more than me, another Achievers Chamber member. 80 points.
Oh my god.
How did he get that?
Douglas Lewis and Buemo.
And Belma. And when everybody was getting him out of their team, he starts producing again. It's like the 3rd game in a row now. He's been playing great. Yeah.
Can I now change everything if I want? I can't change everything, right? I need to.
You can. You have to play a wild card to do that.
But I mean, if I change individual players, then it becomes a transfer, but I lose points.
No. You have got 2 wild cards per season, right? So if you haven't played your wild card yet, you better do that. If you feel like you have got injured players or players who are out of form, or you just have some excellent ideas how to reformulate your team, just make as many transfers as you want and click activate wildcard in the process. And you should do it now. Actually, it's best to do it at the beginning of the round, because then you can make unlimited transfers throughout the entire week, and you can like play around with it for the whole week, and just make sure you set it in before the deadline, right?
And if
So
I don't play the wild card, what happens then?
then you will have to take a lot of hits, because if you make more transfers than you're allowed to, you lose -4 points per each additional transfer that you make. So
Okay.
each week everyone has one free transfer, and if you don't use your one free transfer, it rolls over to the following week.
Okay.
And then you can have two, but it never increases up to three. Two is maximum you can have. But if you do more transfers than you're allowed to, then you will always have to pay for every single transfer -4. So it definitely it's a lot of points. Sometimes you would do it, sometimes you have to do it. You're forced to do it. If Haaland gets injured, people will do it, because it's a lot. Then if we know he's like out for the rest of the season or something, God forbid, then obviously you've got a lot of money sitting on your bench, right? So you need to sell him at any cost. Right.
All right.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much for featuring in today's Premier Corner. It's been
Thank you.
fun. It's been fun having you on,
Likewise.
and it's also was really very nice to hear Leontes tell us about his trip to Manchester. I think
I'll put a picture on Instagram and on the YouTube community.
Lovely. Okay, Nrup, I know you have things to do. Thank you for coming on.
Cheers, man. No worries. Glad, and hope you guys take care and stay healthy. And
Yeah.
see you again next week, hopefully.
Are we now saying stay healthy as a default and wash your hands and all that since
No,
the
it's just that.
coronavirus time?
No. It's just that Leontes has been sick, and even one of our another Clive, he has been sick as well. So
I've also been sick
yeah.
of the way West
Premier
Ham
League.
play.
Oh.
Sick of the way West Ham play. All right. Thank you very much, guys. And those of you who are watching us live, it's not the end. I'm just saying goodbye to our guests here. Take care,
All right.
guys. Yeah. Take care,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. There was no and yet I messed it up. Yeah. Sometimes even the English language is difficult for me, as you can hear. And that's despite me being an English teacher. And because I am an English teacher, I'm going to now present to you the language corner. Which is a corner, a language corner. Now, it's basically a segment, the last segment of this show, a regular segment where I go through some vocabulary that was used during the main show, and I will explain that vocabulary to you. So if you're an English learner, this is your chance to learn something, and this is, in my opinion, as an English teacher, from all my expertise over the years that I've acquired at schools, at university, this is the best way to learn vocabulary, ladies and gentlemen, from context. And we've got beautiful context every single time, because we have a nice show where we discuss football. And now I'm going to go through some of these phrases and words. So Nrup said, use this word sublime a few times. Sublime. That's the way he described Eddie Nketiah's goal. He described it as sublime. So obviously sublime, you can kind of guess it from context. That's why learning vocabulary from context is great, because things become easier. If you are trying to teach someone what the word sublime means out of context, you just say, okay, there's the word sublime, and then you maybe tell them what it means. So it means extremely good, or excellent, or great. Then they might not remember it as well as they might when you tell them that Eddie Nketiah's hat-trick was sublime. And then Rupp used it a few more times to sort of reinforce that as well. So sublime means extremely good, beautiful, or enjoyable. It's one of those adjectives you would use, one of those strong adjectives. So you have to say absolutely sublime. You cannot say very sublime. You have to say absolutely sublime. So that's sublime. And another interesting piece of vocabulary comes from Rupp again. He said it has been a long time since Arsenal had such a thumping victory. So the word thumping here, basically, it's a way to strengthen the victory. It's like a convincing, triumphant victory, an impressive victory. So obviously, 1-0 win can never be a thumping victory. So a thumping victory is always something like 4-0, or 5-1, or 6-2, or something like that. Yeah, I think it's the way it works. Okay, so moving on, I said that Chelsea have a knack of losing against Brentford. That was kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment from me, a cheeky comment. Basically, if you have a knack of doing something, it means you have a tendency to do something. You tend to do something. You tend to lose against Brentford. If you are Chelsea, you have a tendency of losing. So to have a knack, it's an informal phrase as well. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Then I said, rumor has it that Arteta had a bust up with Partey. Bust up, it's like some kind of disagreement or argument. A bust up. Maybe I think I should let me check this. But I think there has to be a hyphen. Let me check it. Okay, not necessarily, but sometimes some people would spell bust up with a hyphen, but it turns out it's not necessary. So all is good. Sir Alex Ferguson. We were talking about Sir Alex Ferguson. Leontes said everybody looks up to him, and he has this god figure status or something. I'm not sure exactly if I'm quoting Leontes exactly as he said it, but this is not correct, by the way. So everybody looks up to him. There's some kind of error, and he has this, I think. Sorry, I just made a few mistakes here in my sentence. I think this. I don't know, guys. I'm just gonna say everybody looks up to him, yeah, because the rest doesn't seem to be correct anyway. So if you look up to someone, yeah, that means you respect someone a lot. So everybody looks up to Alex Ferguson. Everybody respects him for everything he has achieved, for everything he has done for Manchester United. He has got this status, this god status almost at United. So I think we were comparing how difficult it must be for Erik ten Hag to be the manager, because you will inevitably always going to be compared to Alex Ferguson, just like everyone who is the manager, Arsenal is the Arsenal manager is going to be compared to Arsene Wenger. So if you look up to someone, you respect someone, you really admire someone. All right. Okay, so this is what Leontes said. Again, we are talking about Sir Alex Ferguson. Leontes said he had some legacy. I think we can say he has legacy, and so he had some goodwill. This is what Leontes said, but I'm looking at the word goodwill, which is an interesting one. Goodwill is like sort of friendly attitude from people, football fans, or anybody in football, because of your status, because of your legacy, because of the kind of respect that person has, because of how people look up to Sir Alex Ferguson, I think he's going to get away with a lot of things. He's going to be let off. He's got some, let's say, quirks in his personality. Maybe he used to be very what's the word, impetuous, or not impetuous, what's the word, hot-tempered, right? He used to be very hot-tempered, but people would forgive him because there was some goodwill meaning a friendly attitude basically towards him, yeah, despite his as I said, quirky, maybe despite his quirky traits. Okay, then we were talking about Johnny Evans, a United player, and I think Nrup asked Leontes about this guy and he asked what happened to him, and Leontes said, "Hang on, 1 second, I just have to correct it here." Leontes said that I don't think he has the finesse of younger players. So finesse is like another word of saying skill, technical ability, skill. Okay, yeah, that's all this is. And then Leontes was describing his trip to the Old Trafford, and he also mentioned Bobby Charlton and how touching it was to see his memorial. So that happened during the game, I believe. And if something is very touching, that means it's very emotional. Yeah, it sort of almost makes you cry. It makes you be very sad. It makes you emotional. Touching. You could describe a touching. You could talk about a touching film, for example, a very emotional film. Yeah. Then Leontes was talking about Onana's save. That's when he saved a penalty in that Copenhagen game, and he described that moment like this: when he saved the penalty, the stadium erupted. To erupt is a verb. Obviously, the first meaning of the word erupt comes from basically describing what happens to a volcano. So when the lava goes out of the volcano, it erupts. Yeah, we talk about eruption, but this verb is also used to describe some sort of outburst of emotions, especially if you're talking about a crowd. Here it's the football fans, the Manchester United fans. So when they scored the goal, when Onana saved the penalty, they erupted. Yeah, they made a lot of noise, a lot of happy noise, of course. Yeah. Then Nrup was talking about Varane, another United player, and he said, no, he was benched. So if you are benched, it means you don't play in that game. You sit on the bench. It's interesting that we can use it as a verb as well. Someone gets benched. So it's the passive form, to be benched, to get benched. Okay, and then finally I said that Moyes, the West Ham United manager, I said that he's the guy at the wheel. So if you are the guy at the wheel, imagine you're steering a ship, you are the guy in charge. So sometimes we refer to a manager or to a director or headmaster or whoever is the main guy. We can say a president, maybe even. He's the guy at the wheel. He's the guy in charge. Yeah, the boss. Okay, and that's all from me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to smash that like button if you want to help this channel and if you indeed are enjoying these shows. And I have to say, it's all about the guests. If we get the guests, and we do have some wonderful returning guests, such as Nrup and Leontes and others, of course. If we do have guests, it's always fun, and it wouldn't be the same without them, of course. So, of course, your like is a reward for them as well. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care, and until next time. Bye-bye.